Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and I source cars for people on a professional basis. Although most of the cars I source are between £1,000 and £5,000, very often I've been asked to show something a little bit cheaper on the channel, and so I came up with No Budget Reviews, the series where we look at cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and you can enjoy driving. We don't film this in an expensive manner, we don't use separate microphones, we don't use fluid head tripods, we don't even use a DSLR, but we do have a lot of fun. Hello and welcome back to Furiousdriving. Oh dear. I'm so sorry, viewers. I think I've sort of woken up today and I had a bump on the head, and I believe that my name is Mr Richardson from Furiousdriving, and here is his 2003 Land Rover Freelander Kalahari Special Edition with a forbidden fuel engine in it. But yes, he loves those. And he has several cars with the engines that we don't talk about, and so yes, for once here we are. And most of you will have seen this on the Furiousdriving channel. The Kalahari edition was a late pre-facelift model. I think it might have been sort of a run-out edition, because later on in the same year they actually did come up with a revised version of this. You can see here it is wearing a personal plate. That is not actually the plate that originally would have come with the car. It is a 2003. I think the styling of this car is actually very handsome. It certainly was sort of ahead of its time. I don't think anyone else at the time with things like the RAV4 and the CRV, which were the natural rivals to this, quite nailed it as much as the stylists at the Rover Group did, because it was developed towards the end, actually, under the BMW era of Rover. It came out in 1997, but we're still very much in the kind of older world of these sorts of cars, unlike you know, today, where they're just literally everywhere. And I've got a Tivoli myself, so yes, I'm part of the people who don't need to go off-road. But here you know, this is a very capable car off-road, and we've got big off-road tyres on this car. Just hold on a second, viewers. There we go, the handle is there. You see the window actually drops and goes up. Just to show you, we open it again, there we go, it drops and goes up as you sort of open and close it. Low blind as you'd expect in a car like this, really. No point in looking for the spare wheel because it's right there. And they got round the third level brake light regulation that was coming in by putting their own Land Rover branded brake light up there. Boot space, I think it's kind of similar actually to the Sanion Tivoli that we have, although the floor is a lot higher, and so loading things in and out of there would be pretty easy. I'm not going to fiddle with a low blind and fold the seats and things like that today, viewers, because it'd just be a bit of a faff, really. Don't need to show that. I do need to show these tie-down points on there, which are pretty good. And let's just see what's under here, because it's not the spare wheel that's under here. Oh, it's a lockable compartment. See if I can do this with one hand. There we go. Okay, so I think we're unlocked. There we go. You could got a secret compartment there for your ultra secret mission documents. You can fit in there. Isn't that fantastic, viewers? Someone at Land Rover in the 1990s thought of spy work. We could even put things in here. One thing you've got to bear in mind is that you don't want to park too close in front of someone else, because you're going to have to get that open. Now, I think you can actually put that window down on its own. I forget how to do that you know, at the moment, but that is possible. Right, I'm going to go into the back, but I've just remembered the central locking doesn't work properly on the rear doors, so I'm going to have to open them from the inside. And I've noticed as well you need to take the fuel cap off with the key. How very 1990s. These door handles are actually very similar to the ones fitted to a Honda Concerto or Rover 200 from 1989. And I think the Freelander was the last car to actually use them, because it was discontinued in 2006. So, plenty of space in here. I'm just going to pause for a second whilst I just move those very shiny pieces of paper off the floor, because this isn't my car and I don't want to put muddy footprints on them. Superb. Right, so this is the Kalahari edition, and so you get these rather kind of natty Alcantara, and I think this might actually be real leather seats. Kind of suits the car, if I'm honest. So we just get in. It's very easy to get in. This is my driving position, and I am 5'11" or thereabouts, and yeah, I've got loads of headroom. Headroom is ridiculous. I can wear a top hat in here, and legroom is absolutely fine. If I just move back a little bit, there we go. It's a bit more comfortable. We've even got an armrest in here. Luxury car. There we go. Does that have anything interesting in it? No, but it doesn't squeak too much either. Someone has quite thoroughly designed this. I mean, you've got this little insert mat on top of there, but we'll come to that when I actually sit in the driver's seat. But even got a little 12-volt socket down there as well. That's pretty good. Ooh, is that illuminated at night? It is. Ashtray as well. Mr. Richardson's just been telling me that he took this on a family holiday last month, down to the West Country, and ultimately ended up in Lundy. Obviously, you can't drive it all the way to Lundy because then it would be a submarine, but most of the way there. I don't know what's been going on with this. Someone obviously had something on here, but you know, there we go. We've also got these nets here, and the stepped roof line, which is very reminiscent of something like, I don't know, Land Rover 110 County or something like that, is really good. You've got to be quite careful, because these are pretty old now. It's almost 20 years old, so the elastic's gone a bit funny, but back in the day, you'd be putting, I don't know, a Game Boy or something, or a Game Boy Advance maybe. That window is taped up because it doesn't actually work, so that's what's going on with that. But yeah, it's honestly pretty comfortable. I don't know what these interior door handles are off. They're off something else, but I can't remember. And I think those switches are off something like a Rover 800. I don't actually remember now, viewers. Maybe a Range Rover. I don't recall. But certainly it's not actually that much of a part spin special. The platform this car is based on was completely bespoke, and there are some bits in there that you sort of recognise from other cars as I've shown the door handles. But if we get into the front, that bolt is wearing a little bit, but this car has done over 110,000 miles, so maybe it's not so sort of surprising. Also got an illuminated ignition barrel, which is really handy because they deleted those from a lot of the Project Drive Rover 45s, for example. And that mirror switch is the type that's on later Montegos and Rover 800, and also bizarrely the MGX Power SV, although the function on here with the sort of folding mirrors is something that came later. We haven't actually even got a steering wheel that's off, you know, the sort of Rover's ready to be 3-spoke wheels. That control though is off. It's off for something like a Rover 45. The stalks though are not. They're completely sort of original to Land Rover. I don't know if they're the same as on a a P38 Range Rover. They might be off that, but I don't think so. That levelling switch though is the same as in my Rover 45. So they didn't put as much in here as you'd think from the sort of Rover Group passenger cars. They did obviously put some things in. And we've got an enormous shelf for all kinds of exciting things. I don't know, teacups? The tea shelf? Possibly. One problem we've got is the glove box, because that is not going to fit my secret mission documents in it at all. It won't. I can't put them up there because they'll just slide off, but I can put them in this enormous door pocket. Look at the size of this. And that's got a rubber strap on it, so if you've got different sized bottles of water, that will fit in. That's very handy if you are going to the Kalahari. Yes, terrible jokes, viewers. No surprises there. One thing I've noticed is you can't open this sunroof cover without actually opening the sunroof entirely, and I'm a bit funny about sunroofs on old cars like this and getting them stuck open, so I'm actually not going to do that. Side airbags, passenger airbag in this would have had, I think this has got ABS. Some of the earlier cars didn't have a passenger airbag. This one does. It's 2003. And I've just noticed we've got a second glove box on. Let me just change hands quickly. Oh yes, the fuse box is down there as well. That's quite handy. I mean, you can put, I don't know, a phone there or something. Don't know what that's for. I mean, that's maybe for like a Nokia 8210, which is kind of contemporary with this car. Oh dear, no. I must be positive about cars with heavy oil engines, viewers. That's what I must do. I must do that because, yeah, because this is Mr. Richardson's car and he loves them. Center console is sort of interesting. Hill descent control is down here, pioneering feature that they developed. Electric window switches are actually sort of a bit scattered, really. That's not where they are. That's, I think, just for locking them or something. They're actually in the middle, just here, with the handbrake. Same gear shift indicator as on Rover 75 or something like that. These knobs and things I think are bespoke to the car, which is nice, and they feel pretty good, to be honest. I'm trying to remember the other car that had a sort of instrument cowl like this with the switches on the side. There are probably quite a few, but I don't remember any of the sort of Rover Group ones being like this. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. But one thing that's shared with the R8 Rovers, the clock is right over there, and it's a long stretch. It actually is working. That is the correct time, but that's perhaps not the best thing to share with an R8, because they don't tend to be the most reliable clocks, having owned two R8s myself. But at least you don't have to sort of flip a little flap forward to adjust the hours and minutes like you do on one of those. Right, I think we have to take a look under the bonnet, viewers, because we're here, so we might as well. One way you can tell straight away this is a BMW engine is because of that oil filler cap there. So, coolant reservoir, very familiar cap on that, the same as on a K series engine. Power steering, windscreen washer fluid, brake fluid. That's pretty straightforward to get to most things, although it's still quite packed in here. Oil filter is just down here. I think the styling of this car really has actually stood the test of time remarkably well. I think it looks really handsome. The slightly earlier cars do have different sort of bits of sort of minor trim and things, and this has got the big chunky tyres on it, so that does help. But yeah, it's a sort of modern classic for going around in and being very practical. It's honestly not bad at all. Right, let us go for a drive. You joined me today at the wheel of... I'm so sorry. That's better. You joined me today at the wheel of a Land Rover Freelander with a... Oh, engine. Oh, whoops. Never mind. Let's put it into drive and off we go. Yes, kept forgetting who I was for a second, viewers. I wonder why. Dear. Yes. Anyway, so the engine's available in a Mark 1 Freelander, where a 1.8 K series engine with 118 horsepower, a 2 litre KV6 2-litre L series engine of the Forbidden Fuel variety with 95 horsepower. That was replaced, I think, around the year 2000 with the engine in this car, an M47 BMW engine with 110 horsepower that was also used in the E46 3 Series and Rover 75 and all sorts of things. But the one you really want, viewers, it's the KV6 engine, 2.5 litre V6 with 175 horsepower. That is preferable to whatever Forbidden Fuel engine we've got here, because normally we don't talk about diesels on this channel. Mind you, if you're Mr Richardson, then you do talk about them all the time, because he has several of them, and so because this is accidental Furiousdriving rip-off edition, then we have to talk about it. One thing I would say about that L series engine is that it's very slow. 0 to 60 in the manual version takes 14.6 seconds. This, the BMW engine variety, it is a fair bit quicker. It still sounds very sort of agricultural and things, but so does a Rover 75 Forbidden Fuel engine that I might have driven when I was pretending to be in Seabrook. Oh dear. Not going well today, viewers, but anyway, let's go back to the ride and handling of this Freelander. It's pretty good, to be honest. It's a bespoke chassis in this car. It's not based on any existing platform that they had, and monocoque construction, no ladder frame or anything like that, and four-wheel drive is permanent unless your prop shafts and the brakes, and then you have a front-wheel drive one, which is what a lot of people have done, because the cost to repair that when it goes wrong is often quite a lot. So that tends to be a common modification. If there's a problem with the prop shaft, you just take it out and have a two-wheel drive car. But as standard, they're four-wheel drive, and they've got hill descent control. They're the first vehicle in the world, I think, to be fitted with such technology. To be honest, it feels pretty good. The ride's pretty good. We've got off-road tyres on this, so they would actually tell us if it was bad, but it's not. It's pretty easy. It just reminds me of a lot of the more modern SUVs, but just with a tiny bit less refinement, really. That's all I can say. So the Freelander had an enormous range of trim options. There were maybe 20 trim levels: XI, X Millennium LE, XEI, XEI Anniversary 50, XDI, XDI Millennium LE, XEDI, XEDI Anniversary 50, ES, ESX, ES Premium, GS, Kalahari, like this one, Masai Mara, S, Serengeti, just like in that Africa song by Toto, Adventurer, E, HSE, like a Range Rover, SE, Sport and Sport Premium. So an awful lot of trim levels for a car that was in production from 1997 to 2006. In America, of course, there was only the V6 engine available, so the KV6 was sold in at least one car in the United States. But here we got all the engines that were available. This gearbox is actually similar to the one that's in my Rover 45 V6. Obviously, it's not the same because it's a four-wheel drive car, but it's sort of related to it, I suppose. So 5-speed jack coke unit, and it feels pretty good. Go around this corner. Yeah, the corner ring's actually flatter than I remember it, because I did drive one of these many years ago, and with the 1.8 petrol, of course. And it's just very easy to drive. The driving position is very commanding as it is for this type of car, and I'm just enjoying it. It's very, very easy. There's a bit more torque in this engine than there would be obviously in a K series. You could get a manual, of course. This is a 5-speed manual with everything, I think, apart from the V6. So yes, some familiar roads for you, for those of you who do watch a Furious Driving channel. And I think it's time for me to go back and draw some conclusions about this Freelander. Right, FK, yes. Should you buy a Land Rover Freelander Mark 1 for under £1,000? Well, oh, I better take this off, viewers. That sort of car will be probably in far worse condition than this, and it will probably be a front-wheel drive only because, of course, the prop shaft issue in these is a big deal. It costs a lot to fix that, and some people just disconnect it, and so I don't have this sort of helicopter noise going off when they go above 30 miles an hour, which is what it sounds like. So I have driven one of these actually with that problem, and I thought there was, an airbase that just opened up. But yes, we do have electrical problems. Obviously, K-series and KV6 engine woes are well documented, and the M47 engine has problems of its own too. But they're actually not as bad as reputation of these cars would have you believe. Buying through a specialist would maybe help, and increasing your budget above £1,000 would get you a better example. Of course it would, but this is no budget reviews, and so we have to only cover cars that fit within our criteria. Should Mr Richardson have kept his Rover convertible, or is he better for one of these? Certainly his family are able to fit in this a lot better, and well, engine aside, of course, because we don't talk about it on this channel, I've quite enjoyed driving one of these. I haven't done so for over 10 years, and it's not bad. It just reminds me so much of this car was really, really pioneering at the time it came out, and it's probably partially responsible in some ways for the fact that everybody wants a sort of compact SUV these days. Anyway, I think I've come to my senses, viewers, and so the next time you see me, I will not be pretending to be Mr Richardson again. I do apologise, it's just the way it goes sometimes on this channel, where we believe we're someone else. But don't forget to subscribe to Furious Driving if you haven't already done so, and to Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. Like this video and leave a comment below, and yes, we'll see you again soon for more inexpensive motoring.